Hey there, my fellow Fallout 4 gamers. Today I'm going to show you how to get to Diamond City early in the game without conflict. Some people that play Fallout 4 may not want to go through all the early missions before they get to Diamond City. They just want to get there because Diamond City is where it's at. It's kind of like a little mini mall. You got traders and merchants and everything that you need there. And some people don't want to deal with the When Freedom Calls settlement mission. They just want to branch off on their own and do their own thing, which is pretty much what I'm doing in my walkthrough series. If you guys haven't seen my walkthrough series, I'm going to put a link to it in the iCard above and the description below. I basically do trivia walkthroughs on the Skooled Zone, which means they're like regular Let's Play walkthrough videos, but with added factoids about the real world to get you that much smarter. But sometimes I do tips and tricks about various games on the Skooled Zone, and that's what I'm doing in this episode. I'm giving you some tips on how to get to Diamond City as quickly and as early as possible in the game without fighting. Now, why wouldn't you want to do any fighting? I mean, that's half the fun, right? Well, when you start off the game, you don't start off very strong. You don't start off with a lot of weapons, you don't start off with a lot of armor, and you got to build those things up. But having a fast travel point to get to Diamond City is incredibly valuable. Now, I'm going to pull up the map here on my Pip-Boy and show you what I've done so far. All right, so I've come out of the vault, went to Sanctuary, went to the Red Rocket, and then I went ahead and went down to Concord and met the Minutemen. And then I did a tiny bit of exploring around. I went to Drumlin Diner, went to this wicked shipping fleet lockup. But when I zoom out, you can see I haven't really done anything else in the game yet. And the reason for that is because I want to get to Diamond City now and set that up as a fast travel point. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark on my map our first landmark that we want to get to. Now you can start this little trek to Diamond City from Concord, all right? It would be this road here. But let's assume that you actually want to skip the entire Concord mission. You just want to get straight to Diamond City. Well, it's actually not going to be marked on your map if you don't do the Concord mission. But there is a way. There's a shack over here in this area where you can pick up a Wasteland Survival Guide that will mark Diamond City on your map. I'm not going to show you that in this video because this video is going to assume that you've at least done the first two missions. You got the marker from the Minutemen down to get to Diamond City, and now you just want to get there without doing any fighting, all right? So the first marker we're going to put on the map is right at this little road crossing right here, all right? So that is the point that we want to get to, and it's pretty much a straight shot south down from the Red Rocket, okay? Now, for the sake of brevity in this video, I'm going to be doing some time-lapsing. Otherwise, this would be a rather lengthy video, and I just wanted to make this a kind of a quick little video. Normally, I don't time-lapse in my walkthrough series because I want you guys to feel like you're there with me, you're part of the experience. But I think in this case, it might merit a little time-lapsing because who wants to just see me run around in the wilderness? That's not going to be terribly fun. All right, so let's just start heading south here. Ready to go, Dog Meat? Dog Meat's going to come with me here. Well, it's a foggy old day, isn't it? All right, so I am so confident in this path here, I'm not even going to take out my weapon. I've done this run a few times, and it's worked every time. The only challenge with Fallout 4 is that there is an element of randomness to it. And by the way, I looted this stuff already here. So your journey may vary just a bit, and you may in fact encounter some enemies along the way. But what I'm hoping to do with this video is show you how to get there with as minimal conflict as possible. Okay, so we've reached this junction here, and the next marker we're going to put on the map is right at the end of this road, about right there. Now we're going to follow this road down so it's going to be easy to reach this next section. We're going to cross over this major highway and meet back up with this road right here. All right? So we're going to get from here to here, but let's follow this road, and that's going to be this road right over here. Took it a little too far. You'll look for that GNN sign. You know, there shouldn't be any enemies as you're crossing this bridge. But if there are, then here's what you're going to want to do. All right, so we're going to pause here. I'm going to take out my little sniper rifle, and I'm just going to scope it out. Okay, so it looks clear. Now, when I did my first run across this bridge, I ran into some chem pushers. One of them was called Stash. So you may run into them. Now, one kind of enemy that does kind of patrol the bridges is a robot called Mr. Gutsy. So if you see Mr. Gutsy, you're definitely not going to be strong enough to take him on at this point. So you will have to duck around this area. Okay, so here we are. We're going to now cross over this road and meet up with this next road right here. A lot of times when you exit out of the Pip-Boy, it'll save for you, which is a great feature, but it's not 100% accurate. All right, and if you exit out of the Pip-Boy and it doesn't auto-save for you, then do a quick save at this point. See, it didn't. See, sometimes it doesn't. So it didn't do it in this case, so I'm going to now manually quick save here. So let's go ahead and head this way. Okay, there's the highway that we're going to be crossing under. And here's the road now that we're meeting back up with. So this is perfect. We are right on track. So now you're going to follow this road down. If you notice, I'm not hiding, don't have my gun out. It's just a straight shot. Gets a little trickier in just a bit, but so far so good. Okay, so here's the point I wanted to point out for you right here. There is a little shack right down here that sometimes has a raider in it. A couple of raiders, maybe. Now, they may not be that big of a deal for you, but if you truly want to get to Diamond City without having a single fight, then you're going to want to take a little bit of a detour around this shack right here, sort of keeping it in your sights, but out of the way, because like I said in the title of this video, we're getting to Diamond City with no fights. Okay, we may have our first problem right here. Let's take a quick peek at what we got here. Okay, so this bridge right here is kind of at this juncture, and we're already past this custom marker. So I'm going to place the next marker where we want to go, and that is, if we zoom in really far, see this little strange bridge-like structure that goes across this river? All right, we're going to put our marker right there, and that's where we want to cross over this river to get to Diamond City. And we're going to make it to that marker. But at this juncture right here, there is a bridge that crosses over this little stream, and very often there is an enemy here. Sometimes it is some raiders, sometimes it's another Mr. Gutsy. In this case, it looks like it's sort of a Mexican standoff between some raiders here. So what we're going to do is actually work our way completely around the area. Now, you don't want to go in this direction because down here, there's going to be some mire lurks in this little river area. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go around this way, completely avoid the entire encounter here. Now, I'm level 5 at this point, almost level 6, so I could probably take them. But let's assume that you're, you know, first level or second level, and we are trying to avoid any fights on the way to Diamond City. So we're just going to basically just walk completely around it. Let them have their little beef among themselves. All right, nice. So we completely avoided that whole encounter there, presumably. Yep, we did. Okay, so in just a moment, I can probably start running again. Don't you love it? The fog has cleared. We're back to a sunny day. Okay, so here's another area you're going to want to avoid is this little factory over here. Once again, we're just trying to get to Diamond City. There's a ton of things to explore in Fallout 4, and that's the beauty of it. But for this particular video, I'm just showing you how to get to Diamond City as quickly and as easily as possible. So we're going to cut across now. Let me show you on the map where we are. So we're cutting across from this road to that little marker there, and there's this little community down here of settlers. Okay, so here's a road. Looks like you can pick up if you didn't feel like cutting across. But anyway, all we want to do now is just get over to this bridge. And you could take either one, that one or this one. And each time I've run through here, this has been a completely non-hostile environment. So you should be safe here. But again, it's random. All right, so check this out. Moss and Mikey. Okay.
Look, man, I've been thinking about this for a long, long time. I know what I'm talking about here.
Bullshit. You can't just put something between two pieces of bread and claim it's a sandwich. Does that mean a loaf of bread is technically a bread sandwich?
Technically, yes, but you wouldn't eat it all at once like that, so it doesn't matter. How you hold it matters.
Talk all you want, man. You put that piece of my alert meat between two pieces of bread, but it still ain't a sandwich.
Well, what the hell would you call it then?
Disgusting. That's what.
All right, so you can talk with those guys if you want, but we are going to keep moving. And what we are going to do now is we're going to follow this river line to our next point. And let me mark it on the map here. It's about right there. And what we're basically doing is we're getting over to this bridge. You shouldn't have any encounters when you make it to this bridge. Or maybe across the bridge, perhaps, but... Okay, so see this little red water tower here? It's actually called a standpipe. I talked about that in one of my Assassin's Creed trivia walkthroughs. I'll put a little link up there for you so you can check that out. But yeah, you want to avoid this area up here because sometimes there are some super mutants. Okay, so we are going to put our next marker on the map here, and it is at this intersection right here. See, we're almost to Diamond City here. So this is the point at which I'm going to move the marker, but we're not going to go straight there. We're actually going to try to shimmy along this river line until we get sort of to right here. Maybe we could try to meet up with this railroad right here, but we'll see how it goes. Once again, I'm doing this to try to avoid any fights. Although, you know, fights with things like mole rats and bloat flies aren't that big of a deal, but I'm just going to try to show you what I'm talking about, getting there with no fights. All right, so we're gonna go into sneak mode now. Okay, so here's the point where you can probably check back and there might be some super mutants up in this area. So you'll want to avoid this area. At this point now, we can probably head Gus. Okay, that's interesting. I kind of want to see what this is all about, actually. Doesn't look immediately hostile. Let's see what happens.
Up for a trade? I got toys for all ages.
You out here all by yourself?
Hardly. Gus looks out for me. So don't get any ideas. Now, are you buying or not?
Awesome. So she's a trader. She's a little merchant. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to see what she has just for the heck of it. But yeah, so once again, no conflict here. That was a totally random encounter. Let's see what she's got. Maybe she's got something interesting.
Let's see what you have.
Ha, now you're talking.
All right. Yeah, I'm just going to browse around for a sec. Well, that looks slightly interesting. I might actually buy that. Okay, awesome. So can I say hello to him?
Do not interfere with security operations.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. All right, so we've made it to the railroad here, and what we're going to do now is follow this thing all the way down until we cross over this trestle. Now, most people would take this straight into Diamond City, but once again, we are trying to avoid fights. That's the whole theme of this video. So you're basically just going to follow these railroad tracks until they sort of fork off, and you're going to take the left fork. Now, the only reason I'm not sprinting here, you can sprint if you want to, but sometimes when you sprint, you make a bit more noise. and I'm just trying to get through this without a single hostile encounter. And if I can do it, then I will successfully avoid any clickbait titles. All right. Well, this is great. So once you get to these little caution fences... Oh, we're going to avoid them. All right, so Feral Ghoul's that direction. What we're going to do actually is just start heading this direction. Okay, so we successfully avoided that conflict. And this little road right here is going to lead straight to Diamond City. It's a bit foggy again, which kind of sucks. But let me show you. Okay, so here's one of the markers you can look for is this big Nuka-Cola sign. This, I think that's the Abraxo logo there. All right, so let me show you on the map where we are now. Okay, so we kind of came down, under, and back up again. And this right here is Diamond City. I was hoping it would be a little more sunny so I could show you the logo. There is a logo around here. There we go. So here's the logo. Let me Okay, so basically it's hard to see because it's foggy, but see this little diamond right there? I think the diamond's supposed to be a baseball reference since Diamond City is modeled after Fenway Park. I'll give you a bit more trivia about that in my next trivia walkthrough episode, so you'll have to check that out. But yeah, we've basically made it to Diamond City. All right, so non-hostile. Okay, fantastic. You're almost home. All right, guys, we made it. Ran into a merchant, a couple of places where we needed to duck around some fights. But yeah, you can basically make it to Diamond City without firing a single shot. And that was the point of this video. Hope it helped you out. In my next trivia walkthrough video, we're actually going to dive right into Diamond City, so you'll have to check that out. But if you were looking for a way to get to Diamond City early in the game without doing some of those preliminary missions, then this is the way to do it. Diamond City is where it's at. Okay, so I hope this helped you out. If this did help you out, then definitely throw a like on this video, share it around, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time on the Skooled Zone. Peace.